Have you heard of Anchor? It's the podcast platform we use to bring you our episodes. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let us explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard across multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And the best part is that it's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello everyone, post-editing Amber here. I have realized that we probably should have given a trigger warning to this episode because we do mention abuse. We don't go into it in depth, but it's just like slightly mentioned at one point. And then also we mentioned a little bit of adult content just due to the movie that we're discussing. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. Also, I want to apologize in advance. Throughout this episode, there are a lot of glitches, and that's just due to the fact that we are still recording remotely. And I guess on Sunday when we were recording this, the internet didn't want to work well. So I apologize in advance. But that's all I want to say. Now let's get into the episode. Hi, I'm Amber.
I'm Melissa.
And you're listening to the AM Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to do our annual romantic movie review, and we will be reviewing the 2018 movie On Your Wedding Day, starring Park Bo-young and Kim Young-kwon. But as always, we're going to start with our K-pop picks of the week. So this week, to keep the theme of romance, I thought I would choose CL's 5-star. We've talked about this song before, so I won't go into it. Just know that I absolutely love it, and here's a little bit of the song. Oh, Melissa, what's your pick of the week?
So my pick of the week is BTS's Dimple. It is sort of romance related. I didn't know we were going with that theme, but it's related to just it's a really cutesy kind of song. So I feel like it's somewhat related to romance. But anyways, but honestly, I don't know. It's just been on repeat and on my mind for the past couple weeks. I don't even know why. Like for some reason, I don't know. I think part of it is that I just kind of miss like BTS. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like sometimes I'll just watch their like live performances, and Dimple was one of them. So, anyways, so here's a little bit of the song. Okay. And that's it for me.
All right, so we're going to just jump right into the summary. Through this, we'll give our like little 2 cents throughout the whole thing on scenes. But before I started, just like an FYI, the summary is from Word of the Princess, and the link will be in the description. So yeah, let's get started. Wang Woo-yeon and Won Sung-hee were both transfer students. Out of all the guys who wanted to be friends with Sung-hee, it was Woo-yeon who got close to her, and they had their first kiss at the beach. But one day, Woo-yeon received a call from Sung-hee saying goodbye to him because she needed to move. So like this whole part of the movie with them being in high school was just kind of like really funny to me because they had so many misunderstandings between each other. Like one that really stuck out was like she was like, "Oh, you want to go for a quickie?" And like normally, like a quickie is like a sexual thing to some people. And so he thought like she was like, I guess, a fast girl, and was like, he was like, "Oh, okay, I'm ready." I think he was like, I think he was gonna lose his like virginity or something, something or something. So he brought condoms and everything. And so she was like, "But wait, what did you think a quickie was?" Because she found that he had brought condoms. And so she said no. So wherever she's from, okay, I can't remember where she was from originally, but a quickie is the equivalent to playing hooky from school. And so it was just like a complete misunderstanding. And they had a lot of those misunderstandings throughout high school, but I was dying laughing when this happened, just because like just like little things will definitely like get you. But she was cool. I mean, she slapped him, but like she was low-key cool about it. I feel like other girls might have felt like some kind of way. um I think another cute part from when they were in high school is she was feeling down one day, and so he learned one of her favorite songs, and so he sung it to cheer her up, but he sung it over like the school's PA system. And so he had a whole band and everything. First of all, he must be like a cool guy because like his friends were willing to get in trouble with him. And so I thought that was really cute. And when we found out why she had to move, I thought that was completely heartbreaking. Basically her and her mom were constantly like moving to different cities because the father was really abusive, and so they would always just kind of jump to different cities, but he would always find them, and he would come and beat her mom. So yeah, I mean, it was just really sad because it's also sad for her because she can't really settle down in one place and make a lot of friends. So it was cool that he was willing to be her friend and continue to try to be her friend. Well, okay, I'm not gonna go too far into we're only in the first part. So just know they stay in contact throughout their lives, on and off. So yeah.
Yeah, so and I guess thinking back on it, like a lot did happen in their high school years, because I remember watching the movie thinking that the school years like kind of happened like really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I mean, I thought he was just a really kind of cute, kind of happy go lucky kind of person. She seemed like really serious.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing when we learned about like her dad, I guess like that made sense. um I agree that the dad was trash.
Yeah.
Uh have because like you said, her and her mom had to like keep picking up and moving because he kept finding them and like you know ruining their lives wherever they
Yeah.
were. um there were also some really funny moments that I thought also that you mentioned, and just like yeah, anyways. But yeah, I just thought that was, I don't know, I just feel like this whole part was just kind of like happened really quickly. It was like they met, and then like within the next, I don't know how long she was there, but didn't seem like she was there very long. But yeah, that's basically it. Not anything else to say.
All right, so now getting back to the summary. Then they met again in Seoul as college students. Sung-hee had a boyfriend while Woo-young was still in love with her. I want to say like what the summary isn't telling you is that the only reason why he went to college was because he saw her in like the pamphlet of for a college and was like, "Oh, that's her. So I have to go there." Like he wanted to be with her again. And it's just so crazy cuz he worked his butt off to get there. Like he told his parents. First of all, it was really funny when he told his parents because like his parents were like making fun of him. Like, you want to go to school for this girl? Like, okay. And so he like locked himself in his room, like chained himself down, was like doing all his, business in the room as well. And it was just so funny. But also during this time when they were in college, he like lived in the same house that I don't know, what is it, like a shared home? I can't remember what they're called.
Boarding house.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Thanks, Melissa. So they all all lived in the same boarding house, and the guys. So Sunny and Wooyeon were like helping this old couple move boxes. They looked like, I think it was like flattening irons or something, but they didn't know the old couple had actually like stole them. And so the police saw video footage of them helping them, and they were like, oh, they must all been working together. So they came to the boarding house to like arrest them. Time, the guys that were living in the boarding house were watching some adult content, and they thought they thought he was going to jail because they were watching that. And so when they got there, he told Sung-hee like, oh, I think we're here because of this, because they were using her internet cord. So they thought like through like some sort of IP address they could figure it out. But the whole time was because they thought that it's because the police thought that they were working with the old couple. But I just thought it was so funny because they were like, oh my god, how did they know? So yeah. Where are you at though?
So going back to what you were saying about how he saw a picture of her on the pamphlet, and that's how he decided that, or it was, yeah, I feel like that was really the motivating factor for him to get into college. That's one of the things that I liked about him in this movie, or the character. Mm-hmm. Was that like it seemed like once he fixated on something, he was like very motivated to see it through, I guess. Like he wanted to be with this girl, and so he put all his efforts into going to college to reunite with her again. It was interesting that they showed like the whole, like him staying in his room and doing all that stuff. Like, I don't know, some of the things that they showed, I guess, in this movie, I didn't expect for them to show. Like, they didn't really show anything. It was more like they inferred. Like, I guess I'm talking about like the adult content. Like, I don't think I was like expecting. Like, I was watching this movie with my mom, so it was a little like, maybe this is as far as they're gonna like go. But anyways, so I don't know. I feel like that's like should be like a bit of a warning. Like if that type of thing like kind of makes it awkward for you. But anyways, that being said, I thought the jail part was also really funny, because it took them such a long time to realize that you're not in trouble for watching the adult content. It's actually because of whatever the old couple were doing. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to like, I guess, echo that part was funny. And yeah, I guess it was sad that he put all of the effort in. I mean, on the one hand, it was like, she was the reason for him to go to college, but then on the other hand, it was like she had already moved on. So what was the point? Mm-hmm. But I guess the end result was that he was able to go to college. So I guess that's a good thing. Just, I don't know. It was just kind of sad that she had moved on while he was just still so fixated on her. But yeah.
That's all?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. All right. So going back to the summary, as I mentioned before, and as Melissa just mentioned, she had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend was the captain of the football team and was two-timing Sung-hee in the process. William found out and told her, but she didn't believe him and got mad. William and Sung-hee stopped talking after that.
So I guess continuing what I was saying before, like I thought it was sad how she had moved on. I did think it was really, I guess it showed how much he like really liked her. Mm-hmm. That it was I thought it was selfless of him to win the football game, because I think there was like a bet or something that like if their team won the game, then Sunggi's boyfriend was gonna take her to Europe. Mm-hmm. And that's why, and him knowing that Sungi, really liked this guy or whatever, he won Wooyeon. Wooyeon decided that he was gonna try and win the game for her, and he did. I thought that was really selfless, which I feel like I'm repeating what I'm saying, but I also thought I mean, yeah, it was selfless or whatever. Okay, that's last time I'm gonna say that. But I also thought it was like silly for her to fall for this guy. Like within like, I think she said it takes her like took took her 3 seconds to fall for people,
Mm-hmm.
and like she met him. Like, I mean, he looked like a jerk from the beginning. Like, I don't know, because the way that they met, he was already in his football uniform, and I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe like maybe I've seen too many like stereotypical like football movies here, like American football movies. But I'm like, they all seem kind of be, at least in movies, they seem to be very I don't know what the word is. Not macho, but full of themselves. I feel like there's another word for like
Arrogant.
full of themselves. Arrogant. Yes.
I was over here processing while you were trying to.
Okay. There's a lot of filler words, but nothing's coming out. Yeah, they just seem very arrogant, and even the way that he like came in with like a light behind him when she met him, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
girl, really, really, this is the best that you can do. Like what? Like, I don't know. Like, she seems smarter than that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but anyways, and then we find out later that he is, you know, double two timing her, and it's like, well, I could have told you that when you first met him. So I don't know, the whole situation just made me like upset, like, and I just felt really bad, which I guess I'll talk about this more through at the end. But I just felt really bad for this guy throughout this whole movie, and I'm just like, really, this is who you want to go with? This is who you, anyways. That's all I was gonna say. She's just a fool. Anyways, that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe I need to say this for later, but I'll just say a tidbit here. I feel like they were both foolish in their own ways, their own two separate ways. So, his character was supposed to be, I don't know, he always gave me that like foolish, goofy guy,
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. So, yeah, I mean, like, he really loved her. I mean, did he? And he fought him after he won, like, because he knew.
Oh
And you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what? Now that you're mentioning he's a jerk, I remember that when he was sitting there, he was talking about the bet. I feel like he said it on purpose so that he would go. That Okay, let me rephrase this. Her boyfriend, the captain of the football team. I feel like he said that in the presence of Woo Yun. He wanted him to go tell her because after he said it, like, William got up, took Sung Hee away, and the football guy had like a little smug look on his face, like, I know what you're about to do. Go ahead, she's not gonna believe you. Like, that's what I thought was going through his head. He didn't say all that, but that's the thought that went through my head when I saw his face, and he's just like, I was just like, oh, how? Like, I feel like I was like you. I was like, how did you end up with this guy? Like, why? And then I don't know. There is like this like trope in, like, not even just in K dramas, just like all dramas, that anyone that's like a captain of something, they're like the most desirable person in school. Like, if you get to have that person, then like you're that girl. But that doesn't mean that you're that girl, because usually they're jerks, like you said. So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to piggyback on that because that part kind of had me heated. Okay.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. Yeah.
No. You have anything else to say?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. So later on, a few years on, before Young had to enter the military, Sung Hee decided to see him off, but they lost communication after Young failed to see the note she left him. So this whole part was just kind of like funny to me because so they went to, I guess, whatever city I don't know if they had to go. Okay, well, they went to another city, and so he was entering into the military. I don't know how this works. I'm not Korean, so I don't know like the ins and out of how like entering your military service goes, really. But I'm guessing there's like a place. So like so like the day before he has to go in, they like have one night of freedom, and so they go out drinking. do all that, and he drank a little too much. So much so that he ended up pooping all over the place while he was in the toilet, and she was like banging on the door, and she's like, hello, like, are you there, are you okay? And so she finally gets the lady to open up, the owner of where they were staying, to open up the door, and you see that he pooped himself, and she had to clean it all up, which is like so embarrassing. Like, how do you get drunk to the point where like you can't like hold yourself together? And so basically he doesn't remember anything, but when he wakes up, she's gone. And he's like, he was talking to the lady. I mean, he kept calling her Ajuma. So he kept talking to her, and he was like, you didn't clean me up? You let her clean me up? And he just was like, oh, that's so embarrassing. And like in like the reason that he missed the note was because like he was like flopping around because he was just so embarrassed about what happened. And so he lost the note where she was telling him like, hey, like when you get assigned, I guess they get assigned to a certain position or post or something, I don't know, but when she do, like, give her a call. But it got lost, and so they just completely lost communication after that. But I just thought this part was so funny because like I couldn't imagine being around the person that I love and they have to clean me because I drink too much. Like, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that she's better than me because I don't think I don't think I would have been able to do it. I don't know. But then at the same time, like, you don't want the person to like lay there in their feces. I don't know, but
What do you do?
And the lady was like, why would I clean you up?
Right.
The algebra. It's like, but to be fair, like, yeah, I guess she wouldn't have. That's not her job, right?
Mm-mm.
So it's her job to like keep everything like in order and stuff and keep the area clean.
Yeah.
I have nothing else more to say.
You know, I was thinking while you were talking, I wonder if that just showed that like maybe she did love him just as much as he loved her, but she just couldn't show it. Because I feel like that's something you could only do if you actually love. Like, no. No. But maybe if I really like someone and I love them and I cared about them, then like maybe I could like suck it up, get some gloves or something. I don't even know, because she washed his clothes and everything.
I think I would have just thrown him in the shower. Like, I don't even know. Like,
I would try waking them up. Like, I don't.
I would just maybe get in the hose because I'm thinking maybe they didn't have showers there. But like just a hose and just hose them down. Wait,
It hose him down.
I don't know.
Like, I don't even want to change a baby's diaper, let alone a grown man.
Exactly.
Oh gosh. Okay. She cared. She cared a lot.
Yeah.
All power to her. Okay. I don't know. You got anything else to say about this poop incident?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right, so moving through the rest of the movie. So years later, Woo Yun saw Sung Hee again while he was giving out flyers on the street and followed her to where she was going. From there, they were able to catch up again, and unfortunately, at that time, Woo Young had. I said Woo Young. I'm so sorry. Woo Yun had a girlfriend, but his heart still belonged to Sung Hee. He spent his days with Sung Hee by being her driver when she needed to go to shoots since she was working as a model.
Well, I just wanted to add or say that, I knew that he was definitely still sprung on her when he offered to be her driver. Because I remember thinking, like,
Yeah.
did he not have anything else to do at the time? What was he doing?
He was a trainer.
All right, I forgot. He was a trainer.
And had a girlfriend.
But yeah, he was willing to drive her around wherever she needed to go. I was like, yeah, okay. This relationship is not going to last. But anyways, yeah.
No, I just want to like add on to that. I like if I was his girlfriend, like that wouldn't fly with me. Like I don't think like I wish if he was like, yeah. I met up with a friend and I'm driving her everywhere for most of the day. Like, did he quit his job? Like, did he like what did he do? Oh, maybe he only took her around on his off days because he was working.
I don't remember them like specifying like when he would take her around.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But then also like I mean I don't know how personal trainers like schedules are,
Oh
but
yeah.
like I don't know if it's like if he had like only would go in when his clients are in, or if it was
Mm-hmm.
like like some gyms have like people that work there and then like they do have clients like that come in but they still like work there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I don't know if he was that kind of trainer.
Mm. I don't know, but his girlfriend was real cool about it.
It was funny how like at the end she was like, or at the end of the relationship she was like, I don't know if this is like getting ahead of myself. um it might be getting ahead of myself,
It's
but like it was
fine.
funny how she was like, um I gave you too much freedom or something like that.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, you did.
yeah, dummy. But anyway,
Went and like had a whole like started reignited a whole relationship. But
right.
anyways, yeah.
But I mean, it's also his fault. I mean, the moment that she walked back in his life and he knew that like
Yeah.
he still wanted to be with her, he definitely should have ended it with it because she seemed like his girlfriend seemed like a really cool girl and like she got along with all his friends. Like everything was cool. So I don't know. It was weird. Um, do you have more to say?
Oh no, I didn't have anything more to say.
All right. So William finally confessed his feelings for Sung-hee, but Sung-hee hesitated because of his relationship. As we mentioned a little bit before, William broke up with his girlfriend and went to Sung-hee. Sung-hee accepted his feelings after he saved her from a falling sign during her shoot. Um, at this point, like, okay, like we mentioned before, he had, and I think that like the way that whole thing went down was kind of bad. I didn't like it. I will say I was also like, oh, finally. Like I just felt like throughout their whole life, like just well, their whole life until this, well, not their whole life, but like the lifespan of their relationship. Like I feel like the timing was just always off and it was really bad. Like in the high school when they were starting to date, she had to leave because of the dad, and then when they finally met up again in college, she had a boyfriend and it didn't work out, and then they were mad again. And then when like she took him to like military, I thought maybe something was going to come out of that, but he missed the note, so they lost communication, so that didn't work. And so finally they're like reunited, and like I'm like, oh yes, you guys are going to start the relationship. I'm so excited. um so yeah, and then also this isn't really about the storyline, just more so about how, I guess, I don't know if it's like the director did this, but or I guess it is like, I guess it was written into the screenplay. Okay, whatever. I liked how this movie showed like part of like showing the transition of time that they were together in their relationship. They used like her making a jacket for him, and so I thought it was very interesting how like you saw the different steps of it, and it kind of
Mm-hmm.
also helped show like the progression of like how long they were being together. I mean, of course, throughout it they had little like time markers, like, oh, it was 2000 whatever and 2000 this, or they had like the seasons changing. But I just thought it was like a nice little touch to add in the suit jacket that she was making just for him.
Yeah, I did, but I guess going back to I was thinking about the suit jacket because in my head I was
Mm.
like, were there years at the bottom of the suit when there, or was it just her? And I was also thinking, okay, so I'm wondering if they put up years, but I don't remember seeing years. And I was also thinking like it doesn't take that long to make a suit jacket. Is
No,
what?
I think it was just a year. I think it went from, I think it's a 2017, or I can't remember the year, but I do remember there was one that like popped up, and I can't remember if it was on like a calendar or on the side, but it did show that like they went into the following year or something like
Oh,
that.
hmm.
There there was a good amount of time that elapsed between when they got together and the point that we're about to see them at in the movie.
Okay. I mean, I thought that was a good, choice to show the progression. That was an interesting filmography choice. I just didn't know it took that long to make a jacket. Is what I was thinking when I was watching it. But it was, but I guess it was supposed to show the progression, so I can get that from that standpoint. And yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it wasn't a surprise to me when he broke up with the girl, because we all knew he was gonna break up with the girl when she came back into when Sungi came back into his life. And yeah, I mean, I guess at the also, I guess I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm like just not mimicking, but just like saying the same thing that you were saying. But this is obviously a story about, the timing just isn't right. And so, at least at this point in the movie, it seemed like at the time was finally right. So it gives the viewers, something hopeful to hold on to. And then the end comes, and anyways, but we're not there yet. But at this point in the story, everything is like fine for them, and it seems like this is where they're going to like end, I guess. But yeah.
I also want to think. I just want to say I thought it was really cute their little argument about him like spending too much money, and she was just like, oh, how are you gonna like buy a house? And I think he had mentioned like them being together or like living in the same place, and she was just like, oh, so you're, I don't know if it was him that said it or her, but one of them said, oh, so you're thinking about living with me? And then he was just like, I want a kid. And I was just like, weren't you guys just arguing? Like, what in the world? And so I don't know, it's just cute. Is that all you had to say about the section?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. They were so in love with each other, but love turned to hate when Sung-hee overheard Woo-yeon talking to his friend. He said he might regret meeting Sung-hee again because he cannot get a job due to the injury he got from saving Sung-hee from the falling sign. Um, ugh, this part, I was just like, so upset. I was so upset. I was like, dang, I can't believe after all this, fight for being together, this is how things end. But I understood, like, why, why would anyone want to feel like they're the purpose that someone wasn't able to like reach what they want to do? And so I don't know. I mean, I would feel weird if I don't know. I get it. I guess I'm just trying to say I get it because I think I probably would have broke up with him too if I overheard him saying like, "Oh, he's going to regret like being with me and basically saving her because she probably really could have got hurt too." And like just ruining his life basically, and that's like so crazy. And I thought it sucked when oh my god, this part where she like compared him to her father, and she basically was saying that her father would always blame her mom when things weren't going right. And so I could also see that being another addition to why she wanted to break up with him, because as we mentioned before, her father wasn't a great guy. And so if she saw that now, she's probably like thinking of the future, like, oh, will he turn out to be like my dad? And so I kind of understood why that happened. But also part of me was a little upset that he felt this way, because I was like, he's the one that kept pursuing her over all these years, that wanted to be with her. And she even mentioned so we didn't mention this before, but before he broke up with his previous girlfriend, she had mentioned like, oh, like, you're in a relationship, we probably should stop this, we shouldn't see each other anymore. But he came back and was just like, no, I want to be with you, I broke up with my girlfriend. And she was like, I told you to leave. And so it's kind of like he had his out there, but like he, like, I don't know, I feel like he should have taken a little bit of responsibility for that, because he chose to follow her, he decided to follow his heart and do what he wanted to. But I don't know, this whole situation, it just made me mad. But anywho, okay, I'm done. Go ahead, Melissa.
Oh no, yeah, I agree. I felt like Wooyoung was being like really petty
Yeah.
when that during that whole part, and the fact that he was saying all this, right? I mean, okay, no one really liked the father because we know the father was, whatever he is.
Yeah.
Um, but like it's like, why would you talk about this right here outside of the man's like funeral or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's called, ceremony? I don't know what it's called. I would say funeral because I think it was really a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like this was not the time or the place for that. And I mean, and then he's over here blaming her for like his misfortunes and not being able to get a job and whatever. And like you said, like I completely see why she broke up with him also, because no one wants to hear that, especially not at their father's funeral. um but yeah, so, and then about him, like, and like you said, like he followed his heart and
Mm-hmm.
did what he wanted to do, like in terms of like following her. He didn't need to I mean, she, like I said, she could have gotten hurt too. I mean, I feel like another option would have been for him to like move them both out of the way, and so that no one would have gotten hit. But I don't know. I feel like in the moment when these things happen, maybe people don't like actually think about like other options other than his instinct was probably to like, I mean, his instinct was probably to just like protect her, and like
Yeah.
that was it. And but like you didn't think that you were gonna get hurt too. I don't know. And now you're throwing it back in her face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. The whole part also got like made me really upset because she did anything wrong. Um, he was just feeling like, I don't know, feeling like crap because he couldn't get a job.
Right.
Um, and then they had just come from dinner with, I guess, their friends, and they're moving on with their lives, like they're buying houses, they're getting married and having kids and stuff, and I guess he just felt like at the in that moment that his life was like kind of stagnant. But I don't feel like she felt that way. Like it
Mm-mm.
seemed like she was like okay with what they were doing and how they were, I guess, now. um he was just the one who was just like, I don't know, feeling very self pitying. He was very being very, is that the word? He was just being very like, yeah, he was self pitying himself, I guess. Is that a word?
I think so. But I feel like, okay, I was about to say another word, but I don't even think that's the word that you were looking for. So I was about to say self-deprecating, or is it deprecating? All right, never mind.
I think that's right. He was being self deprecating,
Self-deprecating.
which is pitying himself.
Okay. Woo, 2 college students here, man.
You can tell, like, you said I don't really talk that much.
Huh?
I don't really talk that much outside of the podcast to people. Because I feel like every time I'm out here, I'm just like, yeah, what's the word again? What's the word? I don't have autocorrects for
Right.
like
Right.
for thesaurus.
We try to be each other's autocorrect.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say. Like, I felt like I felt like the breakup is really his fault.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was really not fair to her, but like when he, never mind. Okay, that's all I was gonna say.
Okay. But yeah, I agree. I'm confused as to why the funeral, out of all places, is where he would sit here and think about, like, oh, did he make a mistake? Because,
Exactly.
like, you're supposed to be there for your girlfriend, but you're
Exactly.
like not. So I don't know, but I guess it could be like you mentioned, like he saw his friends doing well. I guess he wanted the same. So anywho, back to the summary. um Smooth transition there. Okay. William tries to apologize to Sung-hee, but she can't accept it. So she then decides to take a job offer from her company to work in Belgium. When she returned to Korea, she visited William at a school where he will was working as a physical education teacher. She told him that she was getting married, and William congratulated her, even asking her to send him an invitation. Later, when he received the invitation, he felt miserable and went drinking and fishing with his friends, and he wasn't sure that he wanted to attend her wedding. Um, this was just like a lot. Like he was begging her, like not like to like forgive him, but she was kind of over it. And I feel like when he was trying to apologize to her, he really thought that like their relationship could last. Like he felt like they could get over this, and she was just like, no, you hurt me deep. Because when they met up again after, I guess for a closure for her, just trying to like close off the relationship, she wasn't wearing her ring. So yeah, she wasn't wearing she wasn't wearing the ring, and he noticed. And so I feel like that's when he finally was just like, oh, she's serious, like we're done. Like the person that I've always wanted to be with, that I loved, like she's done with me, you know. So yeah, it's just sad. I don't know, I feel like that all goes back to like timing again, like the time, like him saying that he regretted everything, just like the wrong timing when she was already at a low point because of her dad. I mean, I know they weren't like, no, her and her dad weren't good, but like that's still her dad, and he died. So I don't know, it's just like this whole thing is just kind of like just bad timing. Even when you think it's good timing, it's bad timing. But on like a little more happier note, when he was like a teacher, I mean the movie opens up with him being a teacher, but I love throughout the movie how they like flash back to the present, and you get to see like him interacting with his students, and it just felt like him being a PE teacher was just like what he was called to be. And it really fit him. And I like how like the students were like, oh, your class is so boring, you just look so angry. And it's so crazy because like that's like a juxtaposition to who we knew him as throughout the entire movie. And so I thought that was funny. And so they were like asked, so the students were asking him like, oh, like tell us about your first kiss, tell us about your first love. And so he starts telling the story, but it's like exaggerated, and like they're like little lies. Like he changed things, like so Sung Hee like loved tteokbokki, but like he changed it to be like, instead of them going to get it, it was like she worked at the place. And so it was just like little things were changed and exaggerated, but it was just so cute because he really like engaged with his students, and he was really there for them. And I feel like they warmed up to him, he warmed up to them. And so yeah, I just thought this whole thing of him being a teacher was like perfect. So yeah, that's what I had to say about this little part of it.
Okay. Um, I just want to say that I agree with you. About him being a teacher was like I thought that was a really great profession that he decided to go into, because it does fit his personality from, like you said, like how we knew him throughout the movie. I feel like, it was a way for it to keep him like youthful, I guess, also,
Mm.
because I feel like, life had just been so hard, and I don't know where I was going, but like, because I feel like I feel like his real personality is that he is like a goofy kind of happy-go-lucky person, and he was
Mm-hmm.
starting to lose that as his when his relationship with the Sungi kind of went down the drain. Um, and so I just think that I'm glad that he chose to be a teacher. Um, and the other part the other like exaggeration part that I thought was really cute was in the beginning when he had said that he had won the football game or
Mm-hmm.
something, and like won the trophy, and presented her with the
Mm-hmm.
presented Sungi with the trophy. But like, as we know, watching the movie by that point, that didn't really happen the way that he said it did. I mean, he did win the game though, but
Yeah, it is.
so that part was true. So, but I just thought that was cute. Also, and then also, I just thought that I was very glad that Sungi told him about her marriage, because it showed that she still kind of cared about him to an extent, like obviously not to the extent that I guess that they she did when they were in a relationship. But I don't know, I just thought it was nice that, like, as a courtesy, that she told him, um instead of just getting married and him finding out from someone else. And I felt like it was also, well, I guess it was like an opening for them to not to, I guess, be friends again in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just I guess it was opening for in her way of reaching out to say that, um you know she'd like to keep in touch still, I guess, is what I saw it as, which was nice. And yeah.
I agree. I don't know. I at first when she came to the school to like tell him that she was getting married, I was like, that's kind of weird because like you already told him bye. Like y'all haven't talked in a while. So I thought it was strange, but you said, you mentioned it being like an opening. And I think it's also and not just like an opening to them being friends again, but I also felt like it was like a good opening for him to get closure from their relationship because I still don't think he was like fully over it because later on you see like he was out drinking with his friends and he got drunk and he was like really upset about it, and so that's when he like asked his friends like, oh, let's go far away, let's isolate so we don't have to go back or whatever. So I don't know. It was like a nice opening to closure. And you will see why I say this in the next part of the summary. So, moving on. So, but on the wedding day itself, he asked for his friends to come with him so he can talk to Sung Hee before the wedding starts. There, he said that he didn't really regret meeting her. He was actually grateful that she came into his life. Meeting her inspired him to study harder and be where he is now. Sung Hee also said that she was thankful for meeting Woo Young because he was always there for her during her hardest days. Um, that's why I said it was like an opening to closure because I feel like he finally was able to like realize that being in a relationship with her wasn't something that he should regret, but maybe something. I feel like you even might have mentioned this earlier, where like he was able to like go to school and like without her, he probably wouldn't have gone to college and then be the person that he was then. And so yeah, so it all just kind of came full circle with that one. So yeah, clearly they don't end up together at the end of this movie, but I think that the ending of it was very interesting. When I first saw it, I wasn't sure if it was like happy ending or sad, but I think it fully depends on like how you look at it. Like if you wanted them to like have this like moment, like when she came to his school, like if you wanted them to say like, "Oh, I missed you too. Let's be together. Let's be happy and get married." Then I could see how this was like not a happy ending to you. But I think, but for me, from the perspective that I'm taking, I think it is a happy ending. I think it showed that, they didn't regret anything in life, but they just became better people from it. Um, and yeah, I mean, so, and like, it's a happy ending for both of them. I mean, she moved on, she was getting married, he was finally able to move on from her. So, he can like have like a real relationship with somebody else without some other girl living in his heart. But it also made me wonder if their relationship was just supposed to stay in high school. Like if Sung-hee didn't have to leave and move, I was wondering if as adults would they still be together. Like because their relationship, I loved it, but at the same time it felt very like still felt very like childish in a way because they were still trying to figure themselves out throughout this entire movie. Still like she wasn't sure what she wanted to do, he was like, I got hurt, what am I supposed to do? So like I don't know, I was just wondering if it's supposed to be there, but I mean I'm happy there was some sort of closure for both of them by the end of it. And I do think that William really helped Sung-hee also because she was working on as a model, and it just seemed like she fully gave up on being a designer, having her own line or whatever. And because of him, she was able to like find I think it was like some company that was searching for new designers. And so he saw it, gave it to her. Then she applied. Then she found her dream job and she was able to do all the great things. She was able to go to Belgium. Like, like because of him, they were able to do that. And because of her, he was able to, go to college because he was probably just going to work at that fried chicken stand for a while to figure out what he wanted to do. So I don't know. They were like a benefit for each other, but they've both probably learned a lot from each other in terms of love. So yeah, I think it was a interesting ending. So yep. What are your thoughts?
Well, I will tell you right now, I did not have all of those deep thoughts when I was watching the movie. But I would say that from my perspective, I did think it was mature that he went to the wedding, and and they talked it out. And I guess after listening to what you were saying about like how they benefited from each other like in the relationship, I guess I could see that. I did see that, that them talking things out, helped both of them get closure, I guess. That, it was clear that their relationship was, their romantic relationship is like pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that, and like you had mentioned, them benefiting from each other's, like being in each other's lives throughout since high school. He was able to do some things, she was able to do some things that she didn't think she was going to be able to do. And they seemed to be very grateful for each other for their, their time together. And yeah, I mean, it was a very mature ending.
Yeah.
And neither one of them would be where they were, who they were, I guess, without, if the other person hadn't been in their life. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's the summary. That's our little 2 cents on the entire movie. We're just gonna move on to some like overall thoughts that like maybe we can just add in to it. I just want to say I really love this movie. I love it a lot. I think I love it because it's not your typical like romance movie in the sense of like there's a happy ending and the two people that the whole movie is about ends up together. But I think it's like a good movie for like you break up, like your first love. Like I think he even mentioned that, like I don't know, somewhere in the movie I feel like he mentioned he was talking about first loves, whatever. Anywho,
Mm-hmm.
back to what I was saying. I feel like it's a good movie, like a first love ending. I do think it's crazy that it took so long for the first love to end, but um, I don't know. I think give a good perspective on like it didn't have to be bad. Yeah, they had their little rough patch or whatever, but you could see the good out of everything and they ended off happy. So I don't know, I love that twist to this movie. So I mean if you like that kind of movie, I would definitely recommend. But if you're looking for like some crazy happy ending where the two characters end up together, I don't recommend this for you. You might not like the movie, and if you came to the end of this review, you probably already know what's happening. Probably should have said spoiler alert at the beginning, but whatever. um, but I feel like I don't know. This is just he Wooyeon was like okay. This is like my last little thought. I feel like Wooyeon was very like because he was so goofy and like you mentioned Melissa, he was so fixated. I feel like he wasn't able to like allow another person to come into his life that could be just as great as Sung Hee was. Um, and that was really sad because she was able to do that. But I guess it just goes to show that like he definitely loved her more. So I don't know. Yeah, his character was interesting. They're both characters were interesting, but yep, that's all I had to say.
Well, I am on the opposite end because, I didn't necessarily like it that much. I mean, I guess if you're looking for something that's like, I mean, it was a very realistic ending, I guess. It was a very mature ending. It was a very, like, but it was annoying because it's like, I don't want to watch a rom com or a romantic movie. And then in the end, have a realistic ending. Like, if I wanted to live life, I would just go out there and live life. I don't know. I guess that's what I was thinking throughout. I was like, really? They don't end up together? I'm the type of person. So I think it's more of like a preference of like, it's nothing against like the movie itself. The movie is fine if you don't care about happy endings. Because in my opinion, the only one who really got a happy ending was the girl, Sungi. I don't feel like he really got a happy ending because who did he end up with? Himself? Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like everyone should end up with somebody, which is why I don't like in K dramas when the second lead doesn't end up with somebody. I don't know. It was fine.
It doesn't sound like it was fine.
I mean, it was. I mean, it's just like I said, like I just feel like, or like, what would have been an okay ending for me is if they had the closure. He went to the wedding, he had the closure with her, and then like as he's leaving, he sees someone else like that he may be interested in, and like until you see that glimmer of hope. But there was no glimmer of hope. It was just him leaving the wedding, and you saw her hope. She was getting married.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, and it was just also annoying because he was so fixated on her, like we mentioned, like a bunch of times, but it was like she was gonna be it for him, and it was just so sad when you found out that no, she's not gonna be it for him. In fact, we don't even know who's gonna be it for him because there was nobody at the end. So I don't know. I mean, I'm happy that it was just like it was very realistic, whatever. But I was just like, I spent like almost 2 hours of my life for this. I don't know. If you want to watch a realistic love story, is it even a love story? A realistic story about
It's a
two
love
people
story.
in the beginning, maybe. I don't know. I will say I did like the scenes with Kang Ki-young. He was like, I don't know if he had glasses in this one. Whenever I see him in dramas, I feel like he always has glasses. He was the one
He's the best
who,
friend
yeah, one of the best friends. The
since
one
high
who,
school.
yeah, since high school.
Okay.
He was the one who, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if the people listening know what I'm talking about, but like he's the one who was like, and he had the scene where he was in a couple of scenes where I guess he was watching TV with his parents. And he thought that they had said something else on TV that they didn't actually mean to say or whatever. So I thought anything with him, any scenes with him, I thought were like so funny. He's just really funny. And so, and there were some other like just really funny parts of this movie, just in general. So it was funny, but I'm just really disappointed at the ending. Sorry, but and also I guess for me, the scenes also felt a little bit disjointed. And I think it's because, I mean, I've watched movies before with flashbacks, but for some reason, I don't know, I felt like I was missing some of the flashbacks, or I was missing the order of what was going on. And I think it's because the way that the word or where they put like the year or where we were in like the timeline of things, it was like at the bottom of some of the scenes. I don't know. It was just like places where like if I'm not looking down there, I wasn't going to know what was going on. I don't know. Like I just wish, and maybe this is more of a like, what's the word? It's more of a preference, I guess, for me when I'm watching movies. But I would prefer if the year and the month or the date of where we are in the movie was smack dab in the middle, because I'm already trying to look at the subtitles because it's a foreign film and I'm trying to, follow along. But then I also it's just a lot of back and forth for me in this movie. And sometimes it was difficult for me to be like, oh, okay, we're here now. Oh, we're here now. Oh, we flashed back here again. Okay. Like, I don't know. And then like sometimes the way that some of the scenes like cut off, like there was no like real transition. It was just like they cut off and they moved on to something else and then did a flashback and then they moved back in. I don't know. And I don't know if like maybe having because I have seen some other movies where, or dramas where, like, when they flash back, the color's a little bit different, or like there's like a bit of a hazing. I don't know if haziness
Mm-hmm.
probably wouldn't have been a good idea because these flashback scenes were like super long. But like, I don't know, just some better way. Okay, as an example, one of the parts, I think it was after one of the parts where I got lost. I don't know if it's maybe this is where I got lost, but it was after he had won the football game,
Mm-hmm.
and then he won the game, and then they cut it, and then you just see him and Sungi like passing by each other with her design mannequin or whatever. But I was like,
Mm-hmm.
so what happened? Did she break up with him, or like what happened? Like, did she go to Europe with him? Did she not go to Europe with him? Like, I don't know. It was just some things were just like the cutting of the scenes to me was just a little bit abrupt at times, and sometimes it felt kind of slow. So I don't know. Did I really like the movie? I don't know. After I just like, but I guess I think it's a lot of what I'm saying is more like a preference. I mean, the storyline itself was fine. The actors were fine. It was funny. I didn't particularly like the ending, nor did I like how some of the scenes were cut. But I get it. Like, I get the point of the movie. I don't know if it was like, I don't know. Didn't really like the ending, but I don't know. Other than that, it was fine. Well, with that being said, was there anything else that you have wanted to say?
Uh, just that I agree with you that the scenes with his best friend, especially in high school, were really funny. Especially the parts where like he was taking care of himself, but he wasn't sure who walked into his room with
Oh
the
my
food.
god.
And he was like, "I'm never going back home." So embarrassing.
In fact, there were so many options of who it could be. I was like, oh my god.
So funny, but I will say the last thing I'll say, I really love like I don't want to really say it was like bromance, but I loved how close he remained with all his friends. Like he had his high school friend, but then the guys that he met in college, he was still really close to them. And so I really like that because you could tell like over the years they grew and they understood. Like even when he was saying like slightly rude things when they all went out to dinner. I think one of the friends was getting married or did get married or something. He was like saying something smart and she was like, "Oh," so he was like, "Oh, well, let's go get some fresh air or something." But even they really didn't get too upset. They just kind of like understood their friend, and so I really like that. And and in that scene, okay, wow, I'm really going back. Sorry, but in that scene, I really liked how he had told I can't remember the guy's name, but the friend that had the glasses. And he was like, "Oh, I'll make sure I throw away that Adidas
Oh
box
my
with all
god.
those CDs in it."
That was
And
funny.
so his wife, I think it was his wife, was like, "CDs? What CDs is he talking about?" And they were like, "Oh, it's language CDs." She was like, "What language?" And they were all like English, Japanese, German.
Just all of
And
them.
she's
Just
like,
all of them.
"Oh." And so I thought that was funny. I don't know. There were like you mentioned, there were like little funny scenes sprinkled in throughout the whole thing. I feel like not so much with Sung-hee and Woo-yeon's relationship. I feel like there weren't a ton of funny, like maybe in the beginning, when they were in high school, there were a few
Yeah.
funny scenes, but like as they got older, it was pretty serious. So it was nice to have
Mm.
like the friends come in and have those like comedic relief moments. Um, yeah, especially when they were like coming from the boathouse and they were like yelling for the man to come with the boat and he like jumped into the water and they were like, "He's drowning, help him." I
Gotta
was
get
like,
his
he's gonna do
attention
anything to get
somehow.
to that girl's wedding. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
Honestly, the guy had to get his attention somehow, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's I don't know. That's all I have to say. That's all. I'm done. I'm shutting up now.
No, I agree. The friends were definitely helped with the comedic relief among
Mhm.
like the seriousness of the relationship. So um okay. Well, actually I did have one last question. I meant to ask this earlier, but why was he always fighting in high school?
I think it was because like he didn't care what the bully said.
because you know there was the whole group of guys who were like, I run the school. Like, no, you don't. But okay.
Yeah.
And so he was. I think it's just because he wasn't conforming to like their rules. Like they definitely said Sung Hee was off limits, but he didn't care. They started dating. I mean, and
Okay.
that was kind of weird because like they were dating, but they weren't dating. Like it was supposed to be a joke, like not a joke, but it was supposed to be like to stop the guys from bothering her to like
Yeah.
date him, like the bully guy. Sorry if you guys don't know who I'm talking about. But yeah, so that was weird too because I wasn't sure if they were really in a relationship or not, or if like it started out as a joke and it just bloomed into something real. Um, so yeah, but that's from my understand why he was always fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
I was just like, I just remember thinking like every day is like, what is wrong with him?
He's a wild child.
Apparently. Um. Okay, that was all I was gonna ask, and you clarify that, so thank you. Well, so we have now come to the end of the episode. And we want to know, have you seen On Your Wedding Day? What did you think about it? We would love to hear your thoughts. So let us know on Twitter and Instagram at @the_AM podcast, or leave us a voice message on SpeakPipe. All links are in the description. If you like this episode and want to hear more, please subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you next episode.